Going with their second line to start. It'll be Brody Lamb against Sutter Mazzotti on the opening faceoff. And it is one back by Mazzotti. We'll see Notre Dame bring it into Minnesota zone. The Irish with Danny Nelson. He takes a shot there from Thomas. It's up ahead to Townsend. Townsend into the zone. Goes to Clark. It's off the post, and a second opportunity hits the side of the net. Here's a shot and a save. Rebound opportunity. Whiff on the shot attempt there from Townsend. That was a good look from Tanner Lutke. He's on the puck now on the near side. The transfer coming over from Omaha.
You know, you win the Big Ten, all of a sudden you get a look.
You've still got the tournament, and you saw that from Notre Dame last year. Here's Master Domenico. That goes wide. Now Jursev towards the goal line. Along the near side. Up ahead for Townsend. Townsend with some speed on the right side. A save by Kemp with the glove.
Now Townsend kind of caught Henry Nelson in between. And there's that opportunity up front for Skirmerhorn. Unfortunately, wasn't on his stick. Ended up going off his pad and minors professionally.
Here's Brown with a shot that's wide. Now Jursev. Just went past the stick of Mazzotti there. Puck floats over the head of Master Domenico. And Jimmy Jursev around for Cole Brown. Or rather, that's Werner. Tied up. Middlestat, a shot, he scores. John Middlestat gives the Gophers the lead.
Well, Evan Werner's going to want that one back. He picked the puck up off his skates, which is great. It's a hard rim, but you've got to make a good pass. And unfortunately, he decides to go backhand up the middle, and it gets swallowed up by Minnesota. Here's the hard rim by Jursev. Good pickup off the skates. You just got to get it out. You can't throw it up the middle. I think that was intended for Master Domenico. It gets picked off, and as you mentioned, John Middlestat, who just his first goal of the year, playing on that fourth line, gets the Golden Gophers on the board, and 1-0 is the score. Not a heck of a lot that Nick Kemp could do on that one.
And a great pass as well by Javon Moore. First goal of the year for Middlestat, as you mentioned there, Steve, and it had been 14 games since he had had a point. But he comes up with a big one in the first period. And here is Moore once again. Streaking in behind, trying to wrap it around. Lamb nearly had a great look, couldn't quite reach the puck. Now Lamb back for Zemer, alone on Kemp, goes to the backhand, and he scores!
Wow.
In the blink of an eye, 2 goals for Minnesota, and it's their leading scorer, Brody Zemer, with his 20th of the year.
Yeah, and I don't know if Javon Moore will get an assist on this. You mentioned he assisted on that last goal. Boy, he had a lot to do with this play. They lose control of the puck. He back checks really hard. Watch 74 there, create the turnover. He should get an assist on this play. You know, Brody Lamb should also get an assist. What a move by Zemer, though. Freezes Nick Kemp, is almost behind the goal line, and somehow gets his stick on the puck. Let's see if he gets under the pad of, literally.
Now Clark keeps the zone through traffic. Ends up going wide, and Kemp has to cover it up, and a shove from Master Domenico on Townsend at the end of the play.
I think that's going to earn him a penalty, and it probably should. And I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to stick up for his netminder, but that could be a cross-check.
Goes to Clark. Down low, Henriksen. 20 left on the power play. Henriksen across the crease, and Notre Dame clears it down. Now Femus over the Minnesota line, circles back. Down low for Werner. Werner over to Kumlin. Now Brown with a shot, didn't get much on it. And DePasquo covers it up.
I think that pass from Pano Femus was intended for Brown. It didn't connect. Watch 17, dumps the puck down low. Now it's Evan Werner with a pass. I take that back. And I think that was intended for number 9. It ends up going to Kumlin, who's had a couple of looks here in this first period. Unfortunately, he fanned on that shot. It never did get through. It looks like Cole.
Our boards. Back for Master Domenico. Cross ice Nelson, and DePasquo loves it through some traffic. Now it's wide of the net. From 2005-2018 was an assistant for the Gophers' last national champions, as there's a save made by DePasquo on Sutter Mazzotti.
I like that decision by Mazzotti. It looked like he could have passed, but he hung on, and it was the right decision.
Everybody producing a lot more recently. And here's a shot for Ali, but DePasquo with the save.
Wow, that was almost a 2-0. I hope we get an opportunity. Cole Knuble was right there also.
Flipped ahead, in behind the net, and that'll do it for the first period. And Steve, as we mentioned, a couple of 5-on-5 goals for the Gophers, big for this. Sutter Mazzotti wins back the faceoff, so Notre Dame will have the puck to start period number 2. Townsend takes it away from Femus. Back to McLaughlin. It's deflected just over the crossbar.
That went off of Master Domenico's stick inadvertently. He wasn't even looking, and that McLaughlin blast almost ended up in the back of the net.
Now Femus takes a bump there from Thomas. It's played by Ludke. Away with it off the defensive zone faceoff. Here's Moore with some speed. Javon Moore gets some space, puts it out in front of the crease. I think Kemp got a move on Master Domenico. Now Werner on the other end for Jursev. Jursev back to Brown. He hits the side of the net with the shot. He's going to be the foundation as you continue to build it up, and Cole Brown looks to be one of those players. Gruba with a shot. Kemp with the save, and he covers up the puck. And some extracurricular activity after the whistle. We've seen plenty of that tonight.
Well, it started. Nick Kemp wasn't really happy with that stick that he got, I believe, into his stick or possibly blocker, and he went back and kind of threw a forehand shiver. And then it was Cole Knuble who came to the rescue. He jumped in right away, and cooler heads finally prevail. Looks like a couple of guys might.
Fisher back for Brown, has some space, high slot to Nelson, has it blocked by Thomas. There's another one for the Gopher captain. Fisher through traffic, rebound loose, and it's covered up by DePasquo.
Oh, Sutter Mazzotti had an excellent opportunity off the rebound. I don't know whether Luke Middlestad had him tied up or not. You know, finally they're able to set up. Danny Nelson gets it back to the point. Just an easy shot through, and that's all you need. And you look for a rebound, and that's all Paul Fisher was looking for, was a redirection. Good job by Cal. I believe it was Ali who put it in, maybe not hard enough, and DePasquo came out, just played it to his defenseman.
Ali right on the doorstep. What a save! DePasquo gets there right at the last moment. Wow.
Absolutely stoned Pano Femus. That was a real nice play on the entry. And that's a second unit power play that gets an excellent opportunity. And as you mentioned, Connor, what a stop by DePasquo.
Here is Femus. Back to even strength. So Irish get it back with Jaden Davis. Over the line with a shot that rises too high. Rebound is loose at the side of the crease. Still loose. Comes to Kerr with a shot. And it's for Femus. Back to Kumlin. Kumlin shoots, and another save to DePasquo. And the Gophers kill off their third penalty of the second period. Kumlin a rip, gloved by DePasquo. What a save. He read it perfectly off a big shot from Axel Kumlin.
Well, they say your best penalty killer has to be your goaltender, and he...
One blockered away by DePasquo in the final seconds. Wind down of the second period. Minnesota commits 3 penalties, but they kill off.
Win this game, you know, the first 5 minutes. We've got 20 minutes here. Let's just keep pecking away at it. I think the big thing, though, is we saw from those highlights, Luca DePasquo saw most of those shots.
Here's Cole Brown, down to Werner. Paul Fisher off the end boards. Mazzotti.
He's got long legs, but he's got a really good stride, a real powerful stride, and he's going to be a good one for a long, long time for Bob Motzko and his coaching staff.
Moore out of Carver, Minnesota, played 3 years at Minnetonka High School. 64 games in the USHL with Sioux Falls. So plenty of experience coming in as a freshman. As here's a shot that just goes off the side of the net. Now an opportunity on the doorstep. Tic-tac-toe. Brennan Ali scores, and Notre Dame is within one.
Well, great work by Danny Nelson behind the net. And then Cole Knuble, who's been red hot the last couple of weekends. You know, watch, Minnesota had an opportunity to get it out, but watch what Danny Nelson does right there. He takes the hit, he makes the pass from behind the net to the side. He spots Cole Knuble, and Knuble wastes no time whatsoever getting it on the stick of Brennan Ali.
Tied up along the near side. John Middlestat digs it free. He gets harassed by Kumlin.
Good stick by Jaden Davis there. It looked like Zimmer.
Back for Knuble. Over the line. Knuble into the slot. Shoot. Save to Pasquo.
A great individual effort. Cole Knuble feeling it right now.
Fisher with another shot from the point that was stopped by DePasquo. Kept in well by Zimmer. Now Lamb back for Zimmer. With a shot. Save Kempf. Back to Lamb. Now Clark with the right dot. Back to Whipple. Winds up. Shoots. It's up in the air. Clark over to Gruba once again. Now Whipple. Back over Gruba with a drive, and Kempf makes the save as Notre Dame kills off the penalty, but an opportunity for Clark. Saved by Kempf. Rebound loose. Somehow kept out. And Notre Dame will come the other way with an opportunity.
I think that was Michael Mastrodomenico who made the final save, but two big stops prior.
Here is Lamb. Back over Middlestat, the one-timer. Kempf with the save, and he covers it up.
That was an important rebound.
Raiders for the Golden Gophers can head back to the bench.
It's been a really good third-line shift for the Irish, talking about Slaggert, Femus, and Oliver. A couple of good looks on that last play.
6.5 minutes to go in the third. 2-1 lead for the Gophers. Skirmerhorn with an opportunity. And a goal! Notre Dame ties it! Nico Jovanovic, his second goal of the year. The extra skater for Notre Dame ties it with 6:20 to go.
What a play by Skirmerhorn. This fourth line, who would have thunk, scored the biggest goal of the night. And Skirmerhorn, just great patience, hanging onto the puck, taking it wide. Jovanovic just heading hard to the net. Watch 20 right now, heading to the blue paint. Patience from Skirmerhorn, waited to the last second to make this pass, and he threads it just past Middlestat, who couldn't tie up the stick of Jovanovic. He put
Danny Nelson. Now Knuble with a shot, and DePasquo makes the save. Nelson is looking for Knuble. Notre Dame has taken the momentum. They have the building into the... Notre Dame trying to get it out of their own zone. Unable to do so. Moe with a shot. Kemp the save. Puck still loose. Rebound opportunity. A flurry of chances for the Gophers.
Well, Mason Moe really started it all. Watch this.
Now an opportunity for Ali. He just lost the puck.
Great poke check from DePasquo right at the last second. Just picked the pocket of Brennan Ali.
Great chances on both sides. Here's Brown with speed through center. Pritchard with a shot, saved by Kemp, rebounded, and another stop. Now Mazzotti over the Gopher line, taken by Gruba. Kerr up ahead for Ali, and we are heading to overtime in South Bend. And Steve, what a third period. Notre Dame down 2 goals. Here we go in overtime. The Gophers claim the opening faceoff. 2.5 to go in overtime. Mazzotti with a nice spin to get free. Sutter Mazzotti shoots, and a save to Pasquo.
What a stop that was. He got his blocker on it. What an unbelievable move, especially at the end of a shift for Mazzotti. The spinorama and a great shot from in close, but
over for Whipple. Up ahead, Hendrickson. Hendrickson with Mo on the doorstep. Redirected wide. Another opportunity in front. Whitey. Werner had it poked away, and we're going to a shootout in game 1 of this series. Steve, we saw the transfer from Omaha going up against Nicholas Kemp. Here is Ludke. Shoots, and it's wide.
Good patience there from Nick Kemp. Just waited for the shooter. Ludke went wide right, came back in, tried to go just inside the post, past the blocker, and missed.
Now Sutter Mazzotti will shoot first against Luca Di Pasquo. Mazzotti right to left, and he scores!
Sutter Mazzotti gets the goaltender to open up the legs, open up the wickets, and he slides it in ever so gently, placed it perfectly, and scores the goal.
Brody Zemer looking to even it up. He has a goal tonight. Zemer with a backhand whips it in, and each team with a shootout goal thus far.
Wow, don't think I've ever seen a shootout goal like that. A wicked backhand. Looks like it beat the goaltender, yes, between the legs, through the legs of Nick Kemp. Big goal from Zemer.
Now it's Cole Knuble. Looking to keep Notre Dame with the advantage. Knuble shoots up high. Got a piece of the crossbar. But we are tied at 1 after 2 rounds of the shootout.
Trying to beat him on the blocker side. Looked like just off the outside of the post.
Here is Javon Moore. Moore into the slot, waits, and he scores.
Oh, nice little stutter step there. He picked up speed, slowed down, waited for the goaltender, and then put it right between his legs.
All right, so it's up to Evan Werner to keep Notre Dame alive, trailing 2-1 in the shootout. Werner, and Di Pasquo gets a stick on it. Minnesota wins the shootout 2-1 as Javon Moore delivers, and then Di Pasquo with the final save. So the Golden Gophers take the extra point in what was a fantastic hockey game tonight, Steve.
Well, it was hard fought right to the very end. We saw some great hockey, not a ton of goals, but boy, we saw some sacrifice out there. We saw some great goaltending, and watch the stick. We saw the stick earlier on Brennan Ali. He pokes it out all the way down to the knob, pokes the puck basically away from Evan Werner. He couldn't get a shot off, and he preserves the shootout victory.
What a